Alright, I'm gonna try to make this quick. I don't think a lot of ladies realize that for the longest time, well, since the beginning of time, a lady was damn near a pimp, if you think about it. I mean, all she had to do was smile at a dude, and while she's being a stay at home mom, the guy will work, I don't know, 60 to 80 hours a week. I mean, look at how hard it is for the average woman today in a lot of jobs. Like you got a lot of videos that are constantly coming out where women are saying they do not want to do this shit no more. If you think about it, you start to really look at how many videos where you got ladies who are hating the fact that they are alone and busting their ass just for 40 hours a week. When you think about the average job that guys are dominating in, most of those jobs, you got a lot of dudes putting in. It doesn't stop at 40. You got some dudes that, they got stuff they got to take care of. You got the dudes who want to be involved in the family. You got those that don't. You got some that's stuck on child support and they can't get out of it. I ain't gonna front, I'm lucky as hell. But then you got the guys who literally are putting in more hours than most average people. I mean, to become a CEO, you got some people like I can't remember her name was just Pearl. Like her dad, she said her dad worked since she was a little kid and she rarely ever saw him at least 70 plus hours a week. And she's what, 25? Imagine working 70 plus hours a week for 25 years straight and never taking a day off. That's what most dudes have to do in order to make it somewhere in this world. In fact, you got to do more. If you're not doing that and plus, you're not crushing it. You're not killing it like you should be. I mean, that's the average of what it takes to become the top. Whereas when a girl graduates high school, like literally to just take a couple pictures and put it on OnlyFans and make what was it? Someone made like $1 million within their first 2 days being on OnlyFans. A guy will never make that. Not in 100 years. It's just they're like no one's paying for it. No one's looking for a dude in that way. So next time you think about it, like come on. Like be realistic. How many are willing to do the nasty, dirty jobs that most men do? I mean, I think about those videos where a lady says she imagines a society without men. Like, most people aren't saying these jobs enough because anyone can talk about being a CEO where the air conditioning is nice, you're in a nice office. Yeah, that pays great money, but how about the other jobs that also pay great money too? And I'm not talking about the jobs that requires multiple degrees to make 100,000 within a few years. I'm talking about the jobs such as, I don't know, welding is a big one where depending on where you go, you can make from 80,000 a year to possibly 100 plus because there's a part of that job that's dangerous depending on what you're doing. There's literally working underneath the streets of a city, having to smell the sewers and all the waste that everyone else has left behind. Most people don't want to do that job, but it has to be done to maintain the infrastructure of our country. Here's another job that I'm pretty sure nobody wants to do. I mean, almost maybe 6 or 7 years ago, there was a big sewage issue that occurred inside a lake. And someone had to put on a wetsuit and make sure their mask was snug so that way the nasty water doesn't get in their mouth. And they had to swim down into that mess to try to clear it up. That job pays great, I'm sure, but who wants to risk sewage water getting in their mouth? If you think about it, these are the kind of jobs that most people don't want to do, especially ladies. I'm sure of it. Do you want to risk, swimming in water while someone's, number two water gets in your mouth? No. No one wants that to get in their hair, especially ladies. I'm sure y'all do not want that in your hair. I mean, come on, be honest. Like, I'm pretty sure there's someone out there that's gonna say no, but we want to do these jobs too, and it's like no. Be honest. And if you think about the affirmative action, I mean that I can't remember which country it was, or maybe which state it was, but that was a firefighter test, and a lady failed, and she was still passed. So imagine your family burning to death while you're waiting on this person who's like maybe half your size or half the size of the average person to try to get through the door. Meanwhile, most guys either you pass or they're gonna find somebody else because you need to be able to carry 250 pounds of gear, or at least 150 plus a person. So on average, most firefighters, which my dad was, you had to carry at least enough gear that protects you from fire, that heavy air tank, and then the body of a whole nother person that could weigh up to 250. Most firefighters moving up and down the ladder while carrying at least maybe 400 pounds. You gotta think about it, that's a lot. And that is some of the basic requirements that men have to do. So I just want to point that out and be like, it's time someone finally said that there are certain jobs that has not been put forth, because we always talk about the corporate jobs or the average jobs. No, most people are not talking about the crappy jobs. And even Bill Burr mentioned working on an oil field, where on average that job has a lot of deaths. I mean, just 10 years you made like $1 million, because most of those are like, I mean, you're like there's a very high amount of people that are mainly guys doing that. And I looked it up. The few people that are doing those jobs, well, the few women that are involved in that field, they're mostly involved in the office, not out there on the actual oil rig, where if it blows up and you got to jump in the water, which is on fire, where salt is getting into your wounds, you got to hope that the Coast Guard get to you before the sharks do. I mean, what lady wants to have to deal with that? Just be honest, especially in the comments. I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. Thanks.